The breaking news overnight in the war with Iran. Dueling airstrikes. The U.S. hit southern Iran. Iran retaliated on the U.S. airbase in Kuwait. All this as President Trump claims he's under no pressure to agree to a deal. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott starts us off from the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And just days ago, President Trump was praising negotiations, saying they were making a lot of progress. But overnight, the Trump administration launching yet another round of attacks, the second in just 48 hours. And this morning, Iran is responding. Overnight, the U.S. and Iran exchanging strikes, threatening the fragile ceasefire. A U.S. official telling ABC News the U.S. striking an Iranian ground control station as it prepared to launch a one-way attack drone believed to be a threat to U.S. forces and commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. In addition to the strike, U.S. forces also shot down 4 other one-way Iranian attack drones. The official adding the action was defensive. But overnight, Iran responding. Video released by the Iranian military claims to show the regime targeting an American base in the region. Kuwait saying its air defenses were intercepting hostile drones and missiles. As the war with Iran drags into its 12th week, the president has made it clear he's in no rush to make a deal, emboldened by a string of GOP primary victories.
They thought they were going to outweight me. We'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms.
The president's approval rating has plummeted as gas prices soar. Americans on average are paying $4.42 at the pump, up $1.48 since the war began. Gas prices that are still high across the country, people are paying more for travel. Does that give you more urgency to make a deal? Why doesn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, the primary urgency, if I said this, it wasn't covered properly, but the primary urgency is that we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
But the Senate's top Republican with a different take, saying Americans will be voting on the economy.
We need to ensure that we succeed there, and then also at the same time prove that we can do 2 things at one time and focus clearly on the economic issues that I think are going to be front and center for a lot of the American people when they vote.
Days after insisting the U.S. and Iran were near a deal, President Trump now claims Iran is negotiating on fumes, rejecting the regime's demands to take control over the Strait of Hormuz in coordination with Oman. Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control it?
International waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it.
The president telling me Oman, a key U.S. ally, needs to get in line, issuing this threat.
Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up. They understand that.
And Iran responding to that threat from President Trump to Oman, a key U.S. ally, calling it bullying and dangerous. And just moments ago, U.S. officials are confirming that Iran did try to launch a series of attacks targeting Kuwait. The U.S. says that all of those drones were intercepted, Michael.
All right, Rachel Scott, thank you for your reporting. We're going to turn now to the severe storms causing damage in Texas and flooding in the Ohio River Valley. Ginger's tracking it all for us, of course. Yes. Good morning, Ginger.
So much water. Good morning to you all. And that really caused some very fast-moving creeks and rivers, including high water rescues. Wait until you see this one. This was a baby deer making its way down this channel. The firefighter here grabs the deer just in time. We are so grateful he was out there. He was able to get the deer out because it was a really tough situation and a very nice resolution. Unfortunately, there were so many other places that had the same type of flooding with debris flowing down the river there in Clark County, Ohio. There was so much water so fast after the weekend that was wet and then this. In Spring, Texas, it wasn't just the water, but it was all of the damage from some of the damaging winds. This is north of Houston. Now, today, Texas, Indiana, Ohio, much drier. That stationary front hangs out for Georgia, South Carolina, parts of Alabama, and Florida this weekend, but things are looking up as far as the danger of flash flooding. Now, we do have another danger to talk about, a new storm that we're tracking. This low kind of sends storms up through Idaho, Oregon, and Washington state. So much so, you could see an isolated tornado in these states today. Damaging wind, Yakima, Lewiston, down to Bend, Oregon, all in this region that doesn't see this type of weather as often. So please know that as you go through the afternoon and evening, you have that potential. Robin?
A lot happening across the country, Ginger. Thank you. Now, the chemical tank rupture at a Washington state paper plant. The death toll rising, 2 people confirmed dead and the 9 missing workers presumed dead. Melissa Adon is on the scene for us there in Longview, Washington. Good morning to you, Melissa.
Good morning, Robin. This is a tight-knit community here where everyone knows someone directly impacted by this tragedy, or for people that work in nearby factories, as now this community is gripping with that somber news that those 9 employees that are still missing here are presumed dead.
This morning, the death toll rising as crews work to recover the 9 employees still missing after this deadly chemical tank rupture at a Washington state paper mill.
There are members working the site tirelessly that have lost coworkers, lost friends, and they remain dedicated to focusing on our recovery efforts.
And now we're getting a closer look at the devastation. Images from inside show a pile of contaminated gear roped off, all of it set to be destroyed. These fire boots covered in so-called white liquor, the toxic substance used in the paper-making process. More than 550,000 gallons of it spilled out when the tank ruptured early Tuesday. 2 people have died. The 9 workers still missing are now presumed dead.
This is close to home.
It's my biggest fear, and now my friends are living this fear.
Officials say the damaged tank is still holding thousands of gallons of hazardous material, but remains stable.
The EPA is now here testing the water and air quality for any possible contamination. Officials do say, though, that the local drinking water supply has not been impacted. But now there's a federal investigation underway. And, George, the community members tell me they want to ensure that something like this never happens again.
Of course they do. Okay, Melissa, thanks very much. The latest now on President Trump's retribution campaign. The Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the woman who won civil judgments against President Trump for sexual abuse and defamation. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the story. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. And once again, the Trump administration is using the power of the Justice Department to target one of the president's perceived enemies, this time going after E. Jean Carroll, the woman Trump was found liable of sexually abusing and defaming. This morning, the Justice Department launching a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the magazine columnist who successfully sued President Trump for sexual abuse and defamation. Sources tell ABC News the investigation is allegedly centered around whether Carroll committed perjury during her civil lawsuits against Trump. Carroll was awarded a $5 million civil judgment in 2023 that found Trump liable for sexually abusing her in a department store dressing room in the mid-1990s and defaming her, the day after Carroll telling ABC why she decided to come forward.
I only decided to come forward and tell what happened. I thought that was enough. And then he said terrible things about me, dragged me through the mud, ground my face in the dirt.
The president has long maintained his innocence.
But as far as I know, I never met her. I never touched her. I would have had no interest in meeting her in any way, shape, or form.
Last November, the president asked the Supreme Court to overturn the case. And earlier this month, Trump won a delay in another defamation case in which he was ordered to pay Carroll more than $83 million for defaming her by calling her a liar and her claim a hoax. Now the Justice Department going even further, targeting Carroll directly. The new investigation just the latest in a long string of actions directed at the president's rivals. Just last month, the Justice Department indicted former FBI Director James Comey, Trump's longtime nemesis, for the second time. Trump blames Comey for the investigation into Russian interference in his 2016 campaign and has urged his DOJ to go after him. The president has also been calling for federal prosecutors to use the criminal justice system to go after other political opponents, including former Fed Chair Jerome Powell, New York Attorney General Letitia James, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Now, as for E. Jean Carroll, her attorneys haven't responded to our requests for comment. The Justice Department isn't commenting this morning either. And the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is, of course, President Trump's former personal attorney. He handled this matter for him. We are told, though, that he has recused himself from this new investigation, George. And
Mary, the case against Letitia James, the initial case against James Comey, both dismissed. Thanks very much. Michael?
All right, I'm like, sometimes you got to lose, accept it, and move on. But all right, never seem to end. We're going to go now to the growing Ebola outbreak. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says no one with Ebola will enter the United States. And our Hannah Battah is tracking the very latest on that. Good morning, Hannah.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. The Secretary of State clearly trying to reassure Americans with that declaration. The White House confirming the U.S. is setting up a health facility in Kenya to take in Americans who have been exposed. An administration official describes the facility as state-of-the-art, adding that it would provide access to high-quality care for Americans who would need to quickly get out of the Democratic Republic of Congo to quarantine. An official also arguing that it would cut down on the risks of a lengthy transport back to the U.S. A union representing foreign service workers slamming this decision, calling it a stark departure from how previous administrations have handled Ebola exposure.
All right. Thank you, Hannah, for that reporting. Appreciate it. Now the race to find 2 remaining miners that are trapped in a flooded cave in Laos. 5 people were located alive yesterday, but rescue divers say getting them all out is not going to be easy. Britt Clinton joins us with the latest. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, this is a very complex, difficult rescue mission with divers navigating a pitch-black, narrow and partially flooded cave to try and extract those 5 gold miners and search for those 2 others who are still missing.
This morning, dramatic new video capturing the moment 5 of those 7 people were found alive after being trapped in a cave for over a week. Rescuers navigating narrow, jagged tunnels 1,000 feet long and murky waters, eventually finding the 5 miners huddled together on a rock, cold and hungry, but uninjured. Thank you, said one of the survivors.
That first minute that I found them, they are crying. They're like, they're a lot of hope to go back. I'm also cried too when I first saw them.
Outside the cave, rescuers celebrating. Now the complex mission is underway to extract the miners from the flooded cave and finding the 2 who are still missing. The divers squeezing through the tunnels less than 2 feet wide while carrying oxygen tanks and supplies.
I have to lean my body like that to come in. Sometimes get here, so I'm like this. We cannot just go. It's super narrow.
It will likely take days for the miners to be brought to safety. Rescue divers providing them with extra energy gels, electrolytes and water to keep them stable until they can be brought out.
Now, we've been told more divers are coming who can work their way through the narrow passages of this cave system. One of the divers coordinating the mission says they're trying to pump out water from the tunnel, but he fears that rain could be on the way. George?
Great, Clinton, thanks. Now to the arrest of a former CIA officer accused of faking his education and credentials nearly 2 decades ago and now charged with theft as the FBI found millions of dollars in gold bars, cash, luxury watches at his home. Stephanie Ramos has the story. Good morning, Stephanie.
George, good morning. This is shocking on a few different levels. Court documents say David Rush faked his credentials for 17 years. One source familiar with the case telling ABC News he ultimately worked for the CIA. Prosecutors argue Rush obtained a fraudulently inflated salary and fraudulently obtained military leave. Now, in November of last year, he allegedly made several inquiries asking for significant amounts of foreign currency and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars for work-related expenses. During the investigation, the FBI says they found more than 300 gold bars at his home, weighing nearly 700 pounds and were worth around $40 million. They also reportedly found around $2 million in cash and 35 luxury watches. But allegedly, there is more gold that is unaccounted for this morning. The alleged web of lies started back in 2009 when court documents say Rush lied about his resume, saying he attended Clemson University when he did not, and falsely claimed he was a Navy pilot. Rush is now facing a charge of theft of public money and has not yet entered a plea. He has a hearing scheduled for tomorrow, but both sides have requested a continuance for June 5th. Michael.
Wow. All right, Stephanie, that's just wow. Nathan got away with it for that long. We're going to go now to new trouble for FIFA just 2 weeks before the World Cup kicks off here in the U.S. Soccer's governing body is facing a subpoena in an investigation into its ticketing practices. Will Reeve is here with the details. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Michael. Yeah, 14 days until the World Cup, and excitement for the soccer itself is heating up, but many fans are running hot with major frustration over the soaring costs of tickets to attend the World Cup. Tickets are going for hundreds to thousands of dollars at face face value, preposterous multiples of that on the secondary market, and now FIFA has been subpoenaed over its ticketing practices. Investigators in New York and New Jersey examining whether fans may have been misled about the location of seats they purchased and whether FIFA's public statements about tickets inflated prices for the 8 matches at what they're calling New York, New Jersey Stadium. FIFA claims that as demand has gone up, prices have gone up, using variable pricing to adjust ticket prices based on demand. As FIFA released tickets in phases over the course of several months, prices for some matches skyrocketed. Some fans claim that the tickets they bought that appeared to be in a certain section were actually worse seats than they thought they were getting. Meanwhile, New York's Attorney General saying, quote, no one should be manipulated into paying sky-high prices for seats, and fans should be able to trust that the tickets they purchase will be the ones they receive.
Pretty simple,
Yeah. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
I was going to say the cost of these tickets now almost look as if they already are inflated by the aftermarket secondary market, and they're not. That's just what they're costing.
Glad you got that in. That's true. All right. I know you got the eye in the World Cup. Also the NBA playoffs as well. Yeah, the defending champion Thunder hoping to close out the series against the Spurs tonight, while San Antonio looking to push it to a Game 7, Sam.
And everyone seems excited and everybody's getting ready. So good morning. The Game 6 tonight, by the way, and it's win or go home for the Spurs, as the defending champions Oklahoma City Thunder are just one win away from a date with the Knicks in the NBA final. Now, fortunately for San Antonio, they're back in front of a home crowd with hometown energy. But meanwhile, the Knicks announced they are giving away 250 tickets to every home finals game to underprivileged kids all over New York City. Now, these tickets would be going for thousands of dollars as well. So it's really the only way these kids can support their favorite team in person. Nice. All right. So, you know, they're counting on Wemby. He's the alien, but they're also reaching farther for a higher power, if you will. And we have that. If you watch the games, you know what I'm talking about. But we'll explain it in our play of the day.
All right. Sam on sports. I love it.